Found out my newborn baby isn't mine but actually my brother's after 3 years of marriage. Then my parents begged me to stay silent because my Phil was investing in their business. I, 28M, have been married for the past 3 years, and my wife Jade, 26F, and I have been together for almost 6 years now. A couple of months ago, we had our firstborn, but I recently found out that it's actually my brother's biological baby. My brother Grant, 32M, had been having an affair with Jade for the past 3 years. It started a few weeks after we got married and I had no idea until a few weeks ago. I'll be honest, I had been having a lot of problems connecting with the baby emotionally for some reason, and I had been feeling like a terrible father because I just didn't feel very attached to my own baby. I still don't know why that was happening. Maybe it was a gut feeling, but anyway, I was talking to Jade about this one night and I ended up crying because I was feeling so guilty about it. And that's when she started sobbing hysterically as well, instead of comforting me, and then the whole truth came out. She tried to tell me that it was not my fault that I didn't feel connected to the baby because it was definitely not mine. She already had the paternity test. But she chose not to tell me about it, because the affair had ended right after she found out that she was pregnant and she and Grant had nothing to do with each other anymore. She wanted to focus on me and work on our marriage, but after she told me the truth, it was too late. I immediately started packing, and even though it was really late at night, I left and since then, I've been staying at a hotel. She tried to stop me, she was really upset, but I just left and then I even blocked her so she wouldn't be able to reach out to me. Since then, it's taken a lot out of me emotionally and for the first few days, I couldn't even process what was happening to me. I didn't even tell my parents about it, but they found out, thanks to Jade and Grant. Instead of comforting me, they called me up, told me that they knew everything, and then immediately started telling me that now, whatever had happened was in the past. Jade had messed up, but being her husband, I just had to forgive her and forget about everything so we could focus on our family and fixing our marriage. I had no idea what family they were talking about because as far as I was concerned, that baby was not mine and it was ridiculous for them to even suggest that I raise the baby like a father, and continue to stay with Jade in spite of everything that she had told me. I thought that they were being crazy, but a little while later, my dad finally told me the truth. Apparently, this was just a business deal for my parents, because my father-in-law was planning on investing in my dad's failing logistics business to revive it. My father-in-law has a few established businesses that he dabbles in and is pretty well off. I know that my parents had always been very impressed by the kind of family that I had married into, but I never thought that this would become such a big deal for them. Apparently, this investment had been for quite a while, and they were planning on surprising us with it in a few weeks when everything was finalized. But now, if I decide to get divorced from Jade, it would have taken a toll on their personal relationships, and then, it would be questionable whether my father-in-law would still invest in the business or not. And according to my parents, my dad seriously needed this right now if he wanted to go on, so that's why I had to just suck it up and not make a big deal out of this. They wanted me to pretend like everything was fine and raise my brother's kid like my own and forgive my cheating wife as well, just so they could have the investment that they wanted. I was so disgusted that I hung up and blocked them. And then, just for good measure, I started looking for a lawyer immediately. As soon as I had found somebody good enough, I filed for a divorce, and about 3 days back, Jade was served. On the same day, I decided to reach out to my parents, my in-laws, every business associate of my dad's that I know of, a couple of employees in my dad's company, a few family, friends, and relatives, and tell them about the situation that I was in. It took me a couple of hours to find everybody's email addresses, but when I did, I told them all about how my wife had cheated on me with my brother, and, just for the investment, my parents had asked me to keep quiet and pretend like everything was fine. And then, I sent it out and now, my parents are blowing up my phone with emails, texts, and phone calls from various numbers and accounts. They are very upset about what I have done, because now, of course they're not getting that investment anymore and they've also lost their reputation. They want me to apologize as if that's going to do anything. They've also told me that Jade is also beside herself and has been diagnosed with postpartum depression, so this is only going to make it worse. She's completely miserable, and they're trying to make me feel guilty, but I really don't feel very bad about anything. I really feel like they deserved it, so Ida for telling everyone the truth about my wife and parents and humiliating them publicly? Edit. Okay, so there were a lot of questions about Grant, the kind of relationship he had with Jade and me, and stuff. So I think I should just answer that. Grant and I had a pretty normal relationship, like brothers do. So all of this is completely unexpected, and ever since I found out, we have not spoken to each other even once. He also had a pretty normal relationship with Jade. I never suspected anything was going on between them at all. Besides, Grant had always been more of a loner and was never interested in sticking with one woman for too long. His job required him to travel a lot, and even apart from that, he travels a lot. He's very spontaneous and very different from me. From what I knew, he was never Jade's type, not appearance, and definitely not personality-wise, so of course it didn't make any sense to me. According to what Jade told me, they had only started hooking up after we got married and stopped after she found out that she was pregnant. She might be telling the truth, or she might not, but even during that time, I didn't notice anything out of the blue. They were just very good at hiding it, but whatever it was, I always thought that they were just friendly with each other, but nothing more. As to why Jade cheated on me, I don't really know. When she was trying to get me to stay, and trying to explain herself after telling me the truth, she said a bunch of stuff about me, overworking myself at the beginning of our marriage. And back then, I had just started working, because I didn't want to continue my dad's business, so I knew that I had to work hard if I wanted to get ahead. Sure, people could say that I was serious about my job, but I never overworked myself, nor was I the kind of person who brought the office home with me. I think she was just bored and she needed an excuse to hook up with somebody else, and that's what she did. Anything apart from that, she's just trying to justify herself because she doesn't want to admit that this was completely her fault. So that's pretty much all I know about Grant and the situation with Jade. That's it for now. Update 1. Thank you everybody for all the comments. All the support really means a lot to me, especially right now, given the situation that I'm in. Pretty much everyone hates me, be it my parents, or my in-laws, who think that I have humiliated them by speaking about what Jade did to so many people who didn't exactly need to know. It's been a few days and I've just spent every second either drowning myself at work in the office or coming back to the hotel and deleting messages and emails that my parents have been sending me from other accounts because they are completely relentless. They're just not gonna stop. I keep blocking them, and they keep coming up with new accounts and numbers. I don't even know why they're going to these extents, because the damage has already been done. Me apologizing is not going to change the truth, neither is it going to make them any more respectable. Apart from that, a couple of days ago, even my in-laws reached out to me and told me that that email was really not necessary. They could see who else I had sent it to, and they could see that I sent it to a bunch of people that my parents knew, just to humiliate them. But because I did that, it ended up humiliating Jade as well. I don't understand why I'm supposed to feel bad about that. That woman literally cheated on me with my brother and was happy to pretend that the baby was mine and let me raise my brother's kid as my own until she broke down that one night. What she had done was disgusting. She totally deserved this. Anyway, I didn't bother replying, because I just want to move on from this. Currently, I'm only waiting for Jade's lawyer to respond to the divorce petition. In my opinion, I've been pretty fair, and I just hope that she doesn't make a fuss about anything. As for the baby, it's not mine, so I'm not going to be contributing at all. I might be the father listed on the birth certificate, but that doesn't make a difference to me. It's not that I hate the baby or anything. If anything, the baby is the only person who is innocent in the entire situation, and I actually feel bad because he will suffer for the way his parents screwed up. But even then, it's not my responsibility to take care of a baby that is not biologically mine, especially when it's my brother's. So if she brings anything up about the baby, I just know that I'm not going to take it at all. I'm just preparing myself for every possible scenario because right now, I don't know what to expect. I haven't spoken to Jade ever since I left, and I really don't want to speak to her ever again either. I know that she is miserable right now, enough people have told me about it, and even when I was leaving, I could tell that she was really upset. But I just hope that this misery does not make her believe that she can contest the divorce and somehow get me to stay. Because that's not going to be happening at any cost. I'll do whatever it takes, but I'm gonna get out of this situation somehow. In the meantime, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that she doesn't drag this out and make it more difficult than it already has to be. Please keep me in your prayers, and hope that she doesn't contest the divorce and make it worse for everyone involved. She still has a few days to respond, so I'm just hoping that she makes the right call. Update 2. Hey, everyone. It's been a week since my last update, and today, I finally heard back from Jade and her lawyer. She is not contesting the divorce, thankfully, but there is another problem at hand now. She has forwarded a child custody arrangement. She wants me to step up as the biological father, and has even sent a note, saying that I'm the guy listed on the birth certificate, even if I'm not the biological father. And for the last few months, I have been involved in the baby's life, so I need to do this whether I like it or not. It was really infuriating because I don't think the name on the birth certificate means anything in comparison to the paternity test results. So I spoke to my lawyer immediately afterward, and we have decided to go ahead and disestablish paternity so I can be legally absolved of any responsibility that I have towards the baby. Until the legal process is complete, I'll still be presumed to be the legal father, but the baby is literally just 4 months old, so I don't think it's going to matter that much. I'm still hoping that the process is completed soon. My lawyer has reassured me that it's not going to be a difficult process, because given the age of the baby, it's very unlikely that my absence is going to affect him in any way, and with time, he's probably even going to forget that I was ever a part of his life. It would have been a problem if I had found out later on, when he was at an older age, but for now, completely fine. I'm really glad that I found out when I did, because in the future, I don't know how difficult it might have become for me to deal with this. Even emotionally, I might have been able to form an attachment with the baby, and things would have become just really complicated. I'm also kind of glad that in the beginning, I was not able to connect with the baby. I read about it in detail online, and apparently, a lot of new parents do experience stuff like that, so I thought that maybe with time, it would wear off and I would be able to connect with the baby like other normal fathers. But I thank God that I wasn't able to do that, and it made me feel guilty, and I ended up confessing it to Jade because otherwise, I never would have found out the truth. That's the only silver lining in the situation for me right now. That, plus the fact that in the past few days, my parents have decided to get off my back, at least for right now. I don't know what they've planned for the future. But, thankfully, they haven't been texting me or bothering me for the past couple of days, and it's just been radio silence. And now that I finally have some time to think about the future, I've been thinking about moving out of the hotel and getting an apartment near my workplace because, at the moment, I don't want to do anything apart from just work and sleep. And of course, I can't stay in the hotel forever. It's gonna get too expensive at some point, so I have asked a couple of my friends to put me in touch with a realtor, and I'll just see where that goes. I have also finally started responding to all the people who have replied to my email. There were quite a few people who were very sympathetic and compassionate towards me. I don't know if it was for real or not, but I figured that I should reply to them, just be polite, because now that I think about it, it must have been very awkward for them to receive such an email as well. The least I could do was respond to them. Almost 90% of the people from my family to who I had sent that email had responded to sympathize with me, and I told me that everything was going to work out fine. Most of the employees had just ignored the email, but some of the business associates of my father's did reply along the same lines. So I thanked all of them, and I even thanked a few people who I hadn't contacted, but I guess they found out from other sources, because I'm pretty sure that this must have spread like wildfire in the form of family gossip. But as long as people are reaching out to me to sympathize with me, I'm fine with whatever. At least they are not trying to find out more about it from me. It might seem a little needy, but right now, I'm totally cool with accepting whatever kind words come my way, be it from friends or family, whether they are genuine or not. Because even though I'm very upset, I still miss her, I miss being with her, I miss my parents and family, and I miss everything being normal. I think it's totally natural for me to feel that way, even though they have betrayed me and my trust. It's not just a switch that I can turn on and off. It's going to take a long time for me to process all of this, but for now, I'm just in this weird place. I don't know how to deal with it. I just feel like I'm really alone right now, but I guess it's going to be fine eventually. I won't be able to come to terms with it fully ever, because Jade was the first woman that I ever truly loved, but life is not gonna stop for me. I'm still gonna have to work, I'm still gonna have to do everything that I did and take care of the practical things, and that's just how it is. It sucks, but that's how it is. Update 3, hey, everyone. So since I had filed a petition to disestablish paternity about a week ago, both parents were summoned to family court, and of course, Jade lost her mind over it. She didn't know how else to reach me, so she decided to make a fake account on Facebook and started calling me on the Messenger app. This happened yesterday, and I was in a meeting at the time, so my phone was on silent, and I didn't notice it. Later on, when I checked, I noticed that she had called me about 12 times in a span of 45 minutes, and had also sent me a bunch of messages when I didn't pick up. She was pretty angry and upset because apparently, she believes that Grant and I have ruined her life. Apparently, it was not she who had broken up with Grant after the pregnancy, it was he who had dumped her after finding out that she was pregnant because he didn't want anything to get so serious. That's when she had decided that she was going to stick to me because at least I was committed to her, but then, she found out that Grant was the father and she tried to reach out to him again, but this time, he actually told her to terminate the pregnancy because he was not ready to be a father yet, and neither was he about to commit to her. Then, she kept trying to get in touch with him, but he just kept ignoring her, and then he literally blocked her. She told me all of this in the messages, and now, she's accusing me of abandoning her as well, just like my brother did. And that's apparently how the two of us have ruined her life, sticking her with a baby by herself because Grant has made it more than clear that he has no interest in raising the baby with her, and even if she is somehow able to get him to pay child support, she will still not be able to get him to be a father, and it will be she and the baby who suffers. I don't know how any of this is my fault. I can still understand why she thinks that Grant ruined her life, even though she had an affair with him, knowing what kind of person she was, knowing that he didn't like to be tied down and stuff. but I don't understand how she's blaming me. The mental gymnastics is crazy here. After reading the messages, it became very clear to me that she just wanted to play the victim, and anyway, I was not interested in talking to her, so I just blocked her. If she knows what's good for her, she's not going to contest the paternity situation and let me disestablish paternity smoothly and save her time, money, and resources so she can get Grant to step up and pay child support at least. She's going after the wrong brother, that's all I have to say about this. Anyway, that whole situation is going to be sorted out in court anyway, so I don't want to worry about it right now. Apart from Jade, I also had my parents on my back, but recently, I think they have decided to leave me alone. Because in my last update, also, I had mentioned that they had not bothered me for quite a few days, and since then, they haven't texted me at all. This might be the quiet before the storm, or it might just be the fact that they have realized that they have lost their reputation, they have lost investment, and making me apologize is not going to get them anywhere. From what I know, after speaking to a couple of relatives, they have been completely MIA. They have deactivated all their social media, they have stopped talking to people in the family, and even my dad's business has been defunct for quite some time now. They think that he's in the process of selling everything, which is why everything is all shut up. If that's the case, I know he's going to be very sad about it because he was very proud of what he had built, but oh well. My dad is almost in his late 50s, so I just hope that he has enough saved up to retire because I don't think he can go back to work for somebody else at this stage of his life. I'm not on good terms with him at the moment, but I know that he used to be a hard worker, and maybe he messed up recently, but before that, he had always tried to be a good father to me. So I really do hope that things work out for him, and I also hope that I don't have to speak to him for a while because I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Anyway, even if they don't have me, at least they have Grant. He makes a good amount of money, and even though he's not at home a lot, I don't think that's going to make a difference. He doesn't have a family, I don't think he has any intention of starting one either, so if my parents don't have enough saved up too, that's fine. They can always rely on Grant and consider him their retirement fund. And I hope that Jade chooses to do the same thing and is able to extract some child support out of him. That'll be fun. Fun for me, not so much for him. But I think after everything that he has done to damage my relationship with my wife and the life that I had built for myself, this is the least that I can wish for him. Anyway, that's it for me for now. I'll post here again if anything else happens. Please continue to keep me in your prayers, and once again, thank you all so much for all the love and support. Update 4. Hey, guys. So I haven't posted here for a while, I've been very busy. I think my last update must have been about 5 weeks ago, but in the meantime, I have been able to disestablish paternity, and so, I will not be paying any sort of child support or taking up any responsibility. It was a huge win for me, especially because I had thought that she was going to try her best to drag it out, but, thankfully, she did not try to contest it. I guess she realized that it would end up being a waste of our time, money, and resources because obviously, the family court judge was not a fool. She had already refused to cooperate and provide the paternity test results, so I had to conduct one separately, but that was not going to change the results. She could hold onto it for as long as she liked, she could have held onto it for 10 years, but I still wouldn't have said that I was the father. Anyway, I was able to prove that he was not biologically my son, and because I had only been in his life for 4 months, it was not going to be very impactful if I left either. And that's why I got what I wanted. Since then, I haven't had any contact with Jade, and she hasn't tried to bother me either. As for my parents, I have heard from a couple of relatives that they have sold the business and are packing up to move away now. They have only told very few people where they are actually going, some people who still stood by them during this entire fiasco, but it's not difficult for me to guess. I think they are going to my uncle's place in Loa, so my mom can join her brother and they can run the farm that she and my uncle had inherited from their parents together. It had always been her plan, and she had suggested it to my father several times, but he had never wanted to leave the city, and they used to fight about it quite frequently before. Now, I think he has no other choice anymore, so he has finally agreed. At least this week, my dad still gets to be part of a family business, just not the one he thought he would be running forever. Anyway, that's all in the past now. I've been trying to move on from everything that's happened, and I've been going to therapy, I've been going to the gym, and just actively working on myself. I wouldn't say that I have healed completely, that would be a lie, but I am in the process of moving on. Some days are great, some are very difficult, but I'm getting by. Update 5. It's been almost 6 months since my last update. A long time has passed and I'm doing a lot better now. I've been promoted at work, thanks to all those months of drowning myself in work just to keep myself distracted. It was definitely not a healthy coping mechanism, but at least some good came out of it. Also, I'm divorced. Now, it came through a couple of months ago, but I forgot to post it here. Since there was not much that we had to divide, and she didn't demand any alimony or whatever. It was a relatively straightforward process and we only had to wait until the waiting period was over to finalize everything. So we are officially divorced now. I haven't seen her since then, but a few weeks ago, I heard from a couple of common friends that she had moved back in with her parents and was now raising her son with them. Until recently, she had been living separately, in the house that we used to live in together, but I guess she can't afford the rent anymore without me. Or maybe she would just appreciate the extra help that her parents would be able to provide. Actually, that's what prompted me to post this update, because so far, I have been very busy with my life, but then, our common friends told me about this bit of gossip a few weeks back, and that's why I was reminded to post here. As for Grant, I think he's the only person who has come out of this unscathed. I'm actually a bit jealous of him. He seems to be doing fine, from what I have heard from my relatives and stuff. But at the end of the day, he is still a homewrecker and a terrible person, so I think karma will catch up to him eventually. In the meantime, the only person that I'll focus on is myself.